The Tempest by William Shakespeare has Dorian, who's playing Prospero, and Giovanni playing Alvin.
All hail, great master, brave sir, hail. I come to answer thy best pleasure, best to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds, to thy strong bidding task, Ariel in all his quality.
Perform to point the tempest that I bade thee.
To every article, I boarded the king's ship, now on the beak, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin. I flamed amazement. Sometimes I divide and burn in many places on the top mast, the yards and bowsprit would I flame distinctly. Then meet and join Jove's lightning, the precursors, all the dreadful thunderclaps more momentary, and sight outrunning were not. The fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune, seemed to besiege and make his bold waves tremble, yet his dread trident shake.
Who so firm, so constant, that this cold will not affect his reason?
Not a soul, but felt a fever of the mad, and played some tricks of desperation. All the mariners plunged in the foaming brine and quit the vessel. Then all afire with me, the king's son, Ferdinand, with her hair up staring, then like reeds, not hair, was the first man that leapt, cried, hell is empty, and all the devils are here.
Why? That's my spirit.
Close by, my master.
Hold on. Sorry. Okay. For are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair perished on their sustaining garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badst me in troops, I dispersed them. About the isle, the king's son have I landed by himself, whom I left cooling off the air with sighs, in an odd angle of the isle, and sitting his arms in this sad knot.
Of the king's ship. The mariners say how thou hast disposed, and all the rest, the fleet.
Safely in harbor is the king's ship, in the deep nook where once thou calledst me up at midnight to fetch dew. From the still vexed Bermudas, there she hides. The mariners all under hatch stowed, who with a charm joined to their suffered labor, I have left asleep. And for the rest of the fleet, which I dispersed, they all have met again and are upon the Mediterranean float, bound sadly home for Naples, supposing that they saw the king's ship wreck and his great person perish.
Ariel, thy charge, exactly is performed, but there's more work. Will it the time, the day?
Past the mid-season.
At least 2 glasses, the time 6, and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed to me.
How now, Moody? Why is thou against the man?
My liberty.
Before the time be out, no more.
I pray thee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakings, served without or grudge or grumbling. Thou did promise to bait me a full year.
Dost thou forget?
No.
From what torment did I free thee?
Sorry. No.
Do thou and thinks it's much to dread the news of the salt deep, to run upon the sharp wind of the north, to do me business in the veins of the earth? What is it, baked with frost? When is it baked frost? When it is baked with frost?
I do not, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing. Hast thou forgot the foul witch Cyclops, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
Sir, in Argier.
Oh, was she so? I must, once in a month, recount what thou hast been, which thou forgots. This then was Cyclops, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible, to interhuman hearing, argue. Thou knowest was banished, for one thing she did. They would not take her life. Is this not true?
Aye, sir.
His blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and here was left by the sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reports thyself, was then her servant, and for thou was a spirit too delicate. To her earthy and abhorred commands, reviews in her grand haste, she did confine thee, by help of her more potent ministers and her most unmitigable rage, into a cloven pine, within which rift. Imprisoned thou didst painfully remain, 12 years, within which space she died, and left she dead. Without this, vent thy groans, as fast as mill will strike. Then was this island saved for the son that she did litter here. A freckled, well, hag born, not honored with the human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
Don't think I say so. Be that Caliban, whom now I keep in service, though best knows what torment I did find thee in. Thy groans did make walls swallow and penetrate the breast of ever angry bears. It was a torment to lay upon the dam which Cyclops could not gain undo. It was mine. When I arrived and heard thee that made gate, the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurous, I will rend an oak and peg thee in his knotted entrails till thou house howl away 12 winters.
Pardon, master. I will be correspondent to command, and do my spiriting gently.
Do so, and after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what? What shall I do?
Go meet thyself like a man from the sea. Be subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go take this shape, and then they come into go into diligence. Exits. Awake, dear heart, awake. Thou hast slept well. Awake.
The strangeness of your story put heaviness in me.
Shake it off. Come on. Well, visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us kind answer.
'Tis a villain, sir. I do not love to look on.
But as 'tis, you cannot miss him. He does make our fire, fetching our wood, and serves in offices. That profit us. What hold, slave, Caliban, thou earth thou, speak.
Calvin within. There's wood enough within.
Come forth, I say. There's other business for thee. Come thou toward this. When? Into like a water nymph. Fine apparition, my queen Ariel. Hearken thine ear.
My lord, it shall be done.
Thou poisonous slave, God by the devil himself, upon thy wicked dam. Come forth.
Okay, and scene.
Sing.
Okay, and then we move on to Act 5, Scene 1, on page 74. Enter Prospero in his magic robes with his staff and Ariel.
Now does my project gather to the head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey. Inside, goes upright with his carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
I did say so when I first raised the Tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together in the same fashion as you gave in charge, just as you left them, all prisoners, sir, in the lime grove which weather fends yourself. They cannot budge till your release. The king, his brother, and yours abide all 3 distracted, and the remainder mourning over them, brim full of sorrow and dismay. But chiefly him that you turned, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears run down his beard like winter's drop. From eaves of reeds, your charm so strongly works them, that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Thou still think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, we were I human.
And mine shall. How's thou, which art but air, be touch a feeling. Of their afflictions, I shall not myself. One of their kind, that relish all that sharply. Passion as they, be kindly moved than thou art. Though with her high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason against my fury. Do I take part? The real action is in virtue than in vengeance. They be impertinent, the soul drift of my purpose doth extend. Now I frown further, go release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir. Exit. So we move on to further into this act. On page 77, Ariel starts, where the bee sucks, there I suck I. In a cowslip's bell I lie. There I couch when owls do cry. On the bat's back I do fly. After summer, merrily, merrily, merrily shall I live now, under the blossom that hangs on the bough.
Oh, why? That's my being, Ariel. I shall miss thee, but yet thou shalt have freedom. So, to the kingship, invisible as thou art. There shall thou find the mariners asleep, under the hatches, the master and the boatswain, being awake and forced into this place. And presently, I prithee,